Good morning, everyone, and welcome in to Project Joy Live. It's your triple shot of good vibes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this 9 a.m. Eastern Time hour. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. We're having a little bit of a cooler morning here in southeastern Connecticut. And I say cooler very lightly because, we go from basically winter to the depths of summer within hours of waking up. So it's always a fun time to try to dress for that or plan for that in whatever kind of way. But what's so funny about the weather? A lot of times, you'll see a specific state or country be like, you'll see a meme or something on social media that says something to the effect of, if it's 20 degrees in the morning, it'll be 80 degrees by the afternoon, and something like that. And it only happens here. That I can tell you for certain that happens everywhere. Pretty much. And so I just find it so funny at this point because I've lived pretty much in all corners of the United States. And my husband being from Canada. And then, of course, I've gotten to have conversations with several people, around the world. And there are places, I think, where my co host Olivia lives is maybe a little more mild, where the extremes are concerned. Like maybe we're not going from 10 to 90 in a day, but I do think that there are places that are mild, but I mean, it just speaks to that we all have seasons, right? Like there's always like a time for everything. And the only thing that we are absolutely guaranteed in life is that things will change, and that includes the temperature. So let me know where you're joining from and what is bringing you joy today. I have had a lot going on behind the scenes. I was sharing a little bit on Monday and then end of last week that there's just been a lot of things happening, and so it has been really challenging for me to sort of get going in the morning, um, to continue on. It's very hard to continue on the way things are when you know that change is coming. And when we know, especially when we're waiting for things. And that's why I'm happy about, I can say it again over and over that it's always thrilling to me that whatever, is going on in my life. And I've heard this from other people too, that it just happens to be what the topic is today. So Olivia Ambani will be here in a moment to talk about learning to wait without losing your joy. And, sometimes it can be challenging. Imagine waiting for something that isn't going to be good, or waiting for something that is a challenge, or something that is just going to be, maybe not what you expect it to be. And so there's a lot of different times. And then when we're waiting for something good, it can be really hard to be present because we're just thinking about that good thing. We're just thinking about what's coming. And it's like, how can I possibly enjoy what's right now when we're waiting for that? And so I'm excited to get into this conversation a little bit today. I have more coming for you guys. I finally sat down and wrote some things out yesterday on my social media. So if you go follow me at Jessica S. Dugas on Instagram, or JS Dugas on TikTok, I've got some stuff coming for you. I was sharing about how last Saturday we went to go see Devo and Billy Idol at the arena, and how Billy Idol was great. Already shared my thoughts on Devo. I don't need to do that again, but Billy Idol, he's been around a long time, right? He's fantastic. Really just such a fun performer. And like I was sharing, his guitar player, just you just you know when you hear somebody playing an instrument and you just sit there and you're like, man, like just she's just tearing that guitar apart. Was so good, so good. But anyway, I had a really tough moment during that show, and I shared a little bit about it on Monday. But I finally got some thoughts together, and working on putting that out on social media very soon. But it felt really good, and this is something I wanted to remind everybody on this morning. I have had a few moments lately. Like I said, I've been really dealing with a lot of things, and sometimes it just helps to get it out. And once it's out of up here and all of the swirling and twirling that's going on of all of these thoughts in your head, whether you get it out on paper or you talk it out. I know a lot of people, and I have done this before, where I've just made like a voice note or something on my phone and I just blah, 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 out and it's done. It was amazing to me when I couldn't sleep the other night. I got up and I wrote it all. I typed it all out. And I slept so hard after that, because there's just this release that happens when you just get it out. Does it mean it's solved? Probably not. Does it mean that it's not going to come back and you're not going to have to deal with it? Probably not. But when you just have that release, it's so good. And it's very fitting because today is the new moon solar eclipse, and this is really a big one. I enjoy looking at astrology from time to time, but from what I understand, the current alignment of all of the planets and the way everything is and the eclipse and all of that, this hasn't happened like this since the 1700s. So I find that really fascinating, because there's a lot of people that I know right now that are, one, as we're talking about, really needing to release some things. But a lot of people that I know too are in the middle of really big transitions and changes. And it's uncomfortable transitions and changes, but there's this energy right now of going like, it is going to work out. It's going to work out, but you've gotta be present. You gotta breathe, and you gotta just, you gotta sledge through the mud sometimes to get through to the other side. And so, and I think about that, like so many stories we watched growing up, like, The Wizard of Oz, and they're not even all coming to me right now, but all of these movies, right? They go through something really hard in order to get on the other side. And so if you are feeling that right now, if you are feeling like, I just can't do this, I can't do this, this is too much for me, I've got too much going on. No, number one, that I promise you, between me and half the other people that I know in my life right now, you are not alone in it at all. And number two, you will get to the other side, because there's that reminder. And this is something that a mantra that I tell myself over and over and over again. You have survived every single thing you've ever been to up until this point. So what's to say you're not going to survive going forward? Like, you'll be okay. And so I do know that it's hard. I do know that it's especially to find the joy in some moments, but we're going to do it. We're hanging in till the end of the year. Okay. We're going to do this together. Without further ado, everybody, I want to get into talking about learning to wait, because we're all waiting to get over there to the other side, the flowers, the good weather, whatever it is. We're all waiting for it, and we're going to do it with joy. Please welcome back to the show, Olivia Ambani. Good morning, Olivia.
Hello.
So glad to have your sunshine back today on the show.
Thank you. Happy to bring it.
Yay. All right, we're gonna get right into it, and I want to know about your sounds of joy this week. What are the sounds, the music, all of the things that are bringing you joy this week?
There is a song, but for the life of me, I can't remember the name. It is by an artist called Kunda. She was part of
Mm,
the Music Career Mentorship Program that you're also part of. So,
yeah.
yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's been stuck in my mind, and I love it. And I think she said it was about celebrating mothers or women. So, yeah, it's got a
Oh,
beautiful music video as well. I can't remember the name, but maybe I'll make a note to share the name in the next.
yes. Yes,
But there is
please.
a Spotify playlist that I put together with featuring that song plus other artists who are part of the
Yeah.
mentorship program. So do check it out. It's on my profile, Olivia Ambani. If you want the link, let us know. I will definitely share it. Yeah, go on Spotify, look for it. It's called Legacy on my account, Olivia Ambani, and yeah, enjoy. What
Yes,
about you?
definitely go look for, ask for whatever. We'll get you hooked up with that playlist because I think it's so important now more than ever. And I was talking about this the other day. I mentioned to you before the show that we had gone to the beach to hear my friend's band. Kathy Ellis, my friend that was on the Breakthrough show last year, her band Don't Tell Lisa, it's a cover band, but I do know they're a cover band. But listen, when I tell you, I know that back in the day she used to write some serious music, and so she's so ridiculously talented. She's such a rocker, and she just fantastic. But anyway, we were having this conversation about how important it is right now to support small business, to support small creators, and because we are in this place where there is so much energy and focus on like the big companies, the big names and all of that stuff, and not enough on the people that are just grinding to make it work. And so I'm so happy that you put that playlist together because plus I just love to listen to new music anyway. So it's good.
Yes, exactly.
It's
It's one of
good.
the things that I'm so happy I got to do because it
Yeah.
means that I get to like feature, artists that are looking for new audiences. And I feel like in the power of us like collaborating as people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, for me this week, I really I mentioned before you came on about the guitar player that Billy Idol had in his show, and I just every time I hear that, like I just kind of go back and I love to listen to like iconic solos from
Mm,
songs,
mhm.
and the day before I saw Billy Idol, we had gone to the beach. This is just beach music season, just just so I'm always at the beach. I'm always listening to music. It's just what it is. But we saw a Prince tribute, and I think I had sent you the picture of Leah.
Yeah.
Leah was he came up the stage and she asked to take a picture with him.
Nice.
But he had, again, like such good musicians as part of the band. I know a lot of times people kind of like come to listen to whoever the singer is, and that's who they're
Mm,
focused on. But sometimes we don't pay attention to like, God, the incredible musicianship that's happening in the
true.
rest of the band. And this guy that was playing with him, in this Prince tribute, he took out the flute and was playing like just the most incredible flute solos and was so good. And that took me back to a couple weeks ago when I saw Don Felder and the Guess Who. And Guess Who, they were singing one of their old songs, and in the middle of that was a flute solo. So I'm just obsessed with all the solos right now. I love a good drum solo. I love a good, like, it just makes you really appreciate the musicianship, like, and
Yeah.
it just takes so much talent and time and effort and training and all of that. And so that's I've been listening to the solos lately.
Yay
Apparently.
to the solos. And you're right, the bands get ignored so much, but without
Yeah.
an amazing band, you can be a great vocalist, but bands just take your performance to the next level. So yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So good. So we're talking about today learning to wait. And I always tell people when the stork dropped me off on the porch, they forgot to give me patience. I'm not very good at waiting from a patience standpoint. So it is challenging for me to really tap into the joy when I'm being impatient. So I think part of the key for me has been learning to be patient.
Mm.
So there's that. But why was it important for you to talk about this topic today?
I was thinking about it because I feel like this year, especially the first 6 months, it's just been that. Like, I've been pitching for so many things work wise and
Yeah.
music wise, and then you don't hear back. And that, like, what's happening? And
Yeah.
then just, putting a lot of effort in things and then you're not seeing the response. And it was really frustrating. And so I think when I was thinking about the topics, I was like, I think this is a good one to talk about because I was definitely losing my joy. It's not like I hadn't
Yeah.
figured it out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how many other people go through that. And now I'm kind of on the other side of it where I'm feeling more hopeful and I can kind of see the joy in the nose and in the waiting. But in those first 6 months, it just felt like, what is happening? Like, why does it feel so dry? Like, and sometimes you're even not sure what you're waiting for because again, you're not sure what the answer is going to be. So that even makes it more frustrating because you're like,
Yes.
the uncertainty is hard to deal with, and I just felt like I wanted to unpack that because I feel so many people go through that, and
Yeah.
sometimes I even shamed for like, just have hope, just be happy, just, and it's not easy, and especially
Yeah.
if what you're waiting for is like your basic needs,
Right.
and you're doing everything you can, but on the surface it doesn't look like anything is moving. So yeah, I think that's why I really wanted to talk about it because one, I wanted other people to not feel alone and
Yeah.
just to validate the feelings, and two, to just for us to brainstorm like how to just keep the joy. And joy doesn't necessarily mean always being happy, but just, I guess, trying not to lose hope even in the midst of some really like frustrating waiting.
Right. Do you think that like virtues like hope and faith and appreciation, gratitude, that those things are necessary to experience joy while you're waiting?
I think they can. I'm not sure I'd say
Mm.
they're always necessary, but they're
Mm.
helpful.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me, one thing I found is sometimes for me, experiencing joy is just acceptance. Like, I don't like where I am and I don't like waiting. Like, I don't like the fact that I'm waiting, and acknowledging that feeling of frustration. Sometimes that in itself makes me feel like, okay, I've acknowledged my feeling, and then I can move on to like appreciating whatever it is. Because I feel like for me, if I move too fast to gratitude and I'm still in frustration mode, it feels like I'm forcing myself to be grateful. But if I acknowledge my feeling, I'm frustrated, I'm whatever it is, if I acknowledge that first, then I can move on to like the next part. And I consider all those joy because to me it's like sometimes joy is just relief or just acknowledgement or just like I see myself. I
Mm.
see what I'm experiencing. Yeah. What about you? Do you feel like it's necessary or important?
I had almost the same thought as you. I'm not sure that I would say that it's necessary, but they can be really, leaning into different things can be like that fuel or the starter that you need to experience joy in the moment or remember the joy within you. I oftentimes will it's been really interesting because I heard this before. Like I've shared over and over again about the challenges that I've had with my health since I was very, very young. And a lot of times people will say things like, well, at least you're alive. And that's a really hard one to sit with when everything hurts or when
Mm,
you can't move the way that you want or when you know yes I do feel somewhere inherently in my body that yes I'm glad I'm alive, but it is really hard to be alive when you're in so much pain or when you're going through something really challenging. And so if so when I can't tap into that, I try to think of something outside of whatever it is that is causing me the frustration or the anger or whatever. I try to think of something outside of that that does bring me joy. So whether it's, you know, okay, well, my body's falling apart right now and I'm waiting for better health, but my house isn't falling apart. So there's that. Like, and it might not be the thing. It might
True.
not be the thing, but it's something. And that, even though it doesn't fix it, it doesn't fix the issue, it doesn't get us to what we're waiting for, and it doesn't make the anger, frustration, sadness, or whatever go away. It can be a fuel that at least gets us starting about something other than thinking about something other than all of the other crap that we're having a hard time sitting with.
Absolutely, I agree. I agree with you so much because I do that as well. Sometimes I'll be like, at least I can go sleep, you know. I love it.
I
Like
can
sometimes
sleep through this. I'm just
I'm
gonna
just gonna
sleep
go sleep.
till it's over.
Wake me up when it's on like this.
I think about the Green Day song "Wake Me Up When September Ends." Like I've
Oh,
I've felt that sometimes. Maybe not September exactly, but I'm just like, can we just sleep through this? Can we hibernate? Can we just?
yeah, wake me up. I think of the is it Aloe Black and Avicii song? It's like a wake me
Yes,
up till
I was
it's
thinking about that
over.
too.
Yeah. And sometimes you're just like, oh, yeah, no, this season we can skip it. And I do that. Sometimes in that I'm like, at least I can walk or I find something comforting to eat or do like and I focus on that because yeah, sometimes you just need to anchor yourself in a different space because the a lot of the stuff that sometimes you're waiting for is totally out of your control. So it's like
Yeah,
I've done my part now.
yeah. I was thinking about too. Sometimes, and I don't know whether it's sometimes I go back and forth whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. I think when we're going through something, when we're having to wait, and we are in that space of like anticipation for what's next, and it really is. We would rather be in the anticipation than to be present. But then I think about times when I have sort of built up the idea of what's coming,
Mm,
to be so big that when it gets here, even though it might be good, it almost feels like a letdown because I built it up to be this thing. Like, I've just been waiting for this. This is so exciting. And then I get there and I'm like, it's good. Like, you know.
oh, I
Um,
guess.
and so like I think about, like, do you ever feel like looking forward or anticipating too much could hinder the joy that we're experiencing right now while we're waiting?
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it could, or putting too much pressure on the thing, on the outcome rather than on the process. So I think I experienced maybe the opposite. So there was an application I was doing for this mentorship program, and it was going to be great, going to go to LA and everything. But the thing I learned was I really enjoyed the application was not easy, but I enjoyed like what I got to learn about myself, clarity on my
Mhm.
vision, doing the application form. And then once I handed it in, I was like, yeah, I enjoyed that. Like I learned so much. It pushed me to like update a lot of my profiles and things. And so I was left with like, okay, regardless of what happens, I feel like this was a good experience.
Mm,
So I learned from that because I'd done it before the other way around where I was like, I want to get this, I want to get this. And I almost forgot the process and it was like when the thing happened or actually didn't happen, it was so frustrating. I was like, what was the point, you know? But
right.
now, yeah, I'm learning to just enjoy the process, or find value in it. Like, because I may not necessarily enjoy it, but I can
Mm,
see the value in it. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one. And especially for like, I think creative careers or anything really,
yeah.
but I'll say creative careers for me. It's like with a music career, you could put a lot of things in motion, and then now you just have to wait for certain things, and
Right.
it can be very frustrating. So, like for me right now, something I'm waiting for so that I can do something else. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? I can listen to the music. I can listen to the song over and over again and think about how amazing it was, the thing I've created,
Yeah.
and yeah, and that's what I can do. Like and not
Yeah.
rush to the point where I'm like, I can't wait for it to be out. And then once it's out, I'm like, oh, okay, it's out. Like, trust me, releasing music does that to you all the time, and I have to remind myself, just enjoy the song not yet being out. Enjoy
Yeah.
the music video. Enjoy doing the artwork. Enjoy the release. Enjoy the promo because once it's out, it's out, and regardless of how it performs, if you didn't enjoy these other, you really
Right.
feel like so much pressure on like why didn't it become viral and all that. So I think music
Yeah.
does that to you.
You know what I think is interesting though, that this tie it's something that I talked about with a couple people this last week, ties into kind of what we're talking about. I got into a conversation with some friends about how we don't allow ourselves time to relish in and really appreciate and value what we've created. And we were
Mm,
talking about this from the perspective of being builders. So, myself and a couple of my friends consider ourselves to be builders. Like, we're always working on something like there's like if there's something to be built, we're building it, and then when we finish building it, we're like, what can we build next, and we start building it again. Or what can, like, we talk about this from musician perspective. You come out with an album and it's like, what album am I going to do next? And we're not like taking the time to really sit with, value, and appreciate the work that we
yes.
did. So what happens when we, and I'm just realizing this as we're talking now, what happens when we do that is now we have even more time that we have to sit in this waiting room, because it takes time to build, it takes time to create, and there's, so now you've got all this extra time in between because you haven't even appreciated what you've done already.
Absolutely, and that's huge. And I think it's like also not honoring the season. Like stop rushing to the next, to the next, to the next, because
Yeah.
even in that acknowledgement, you can learn so much. You can gain so much energy. You get the gratitude, and then you have the energy and the space to now wait again. So I
Mhm.
think you're right. It can put us in a vicious cycle of waiting because we're always rushing on to the next, on
Yes.
to the next. So
Right.
it's true. So I think it should be, it's important. And I think especially now when we're told like the faster the better, the faster the better,
Yep.
it can really, you're not allowed to marinate. You're not allowed to like just
Right.
pause and take it all in. So I agree.
Right. We
I
talked about that too, about how, you know, yes, we need to take some element of responsibility for, um, choosing to appreciate what we've created, but we are very much, to give ourselves a little bit of credit here, we are in a society that is for very um moving very, very quickly. It's one thing to another. Like, it used to be that a trend or something that was trendy would last a year, a decade. Like, you can, like, I think about this on the Flashback Friday shows that I do with Danielle. And we talk about a lot of like nostalgic things that hung on for all of the 80s or all of the 90s or something like that. And now you go on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and it's like, this today's trends are. And it's like, today, can we have this for 5 minutes?
right. It's true.
you
It
know,
moves so fast.
it's so hard.
It is. It moves so fast, and I think it makes people. I feel like there's it's creating syndromes and just people are struggling to keep up because it then means that you're always thinking about what can I do next, what can I do next, what you're never present in the thing you're doing because you're always playing catch up,
Mm.
and around you tells you if you're not moving fast enough then you're not. And I think like we just weren't created for that. Maybe we'll evolve in the future for it, but I honestly don't know. I'm not sure I want that. So
I
I think,
know.
yeah, oof. I pity children in this age because I don't know how they're keeping up. Like it's a lot. It's a
Yeah. I
lot.
mean, even as much as I've so my kids are homeschooled. My oldest three had been to public school prior. My youngest three had never been to public school before. And so there is an element of the ability that we have to create a little bit of a slower atmosphere, but they do like go out, they do know people, they do have friends, they do see social media, they do, live in this world. And so even there, all of my kids, and I've seen it in other kids too, are anxious about things that I never remember being anxious about when I was little.
I get you. I had a conversation recently with someone so young, and I was like, "What?" It's just like,
Yes.
what? That is your thought process? I was like, I just wanted to play and have ice cream,
Right.
something. I was not worried about these things anymore. But I think it's a lot, and I also feel like a lot of children are made adults too early. Like, it
Yep.
happened in age, but even now more so. There's a needing of a child to be too responsible, needing of a child to be like just to have it together. I'm like, they're children. Imagine they are
Yeah.
children. Let them be children. And I think also there's so much need for performance of the child being excellent. Like, you
Yep.
need to be great at something. Sometimes it can they just be children, and I think that
Yeah.
pressure also goes down to like you, the guardian or parent or
Right.
person. It's like I want my person to be like, and
The
sometimes you just,
best.
yeah, the best. It's funny. I was talking about this. I did an interview a while ago, and it was about art and how there's so much pressure on artists to have impact, and a lot of the money in art is in impact. So I was saying how sometimes you just want to make art. I don't want to be asked what impact it's making or have that as a focus. Sometimes I just want to
Yeah.
make art, and just for the fun of it, just because I want to, but because there's so much pressure on like impact, impact, impact. Like how
Yeah.
is it going to better the world, or how are you helping someone? And I think it's all tied in the next. Like, you've solved one problem. Okay, that was. What are we doing next? We need bigger. We need
Right.
better. And
Right.
and I yeah, I think we need to just slow down.
Well, you know what was interesting? A couple things. One, I saw an interview the other day with the actress Jennifer Lawrence, who star of the Hunger Games
Mm,
series, and she used to be a few years back very, very politically outspoken. She was speaking up on a lot of social media about politics, and it kind of in a way overshadowed her talent and what she does as an actress. And then she had an interview that I saw the other day. I don't remember know where it was or what it was from, but she was saying they asked her in the interview, you used to speak up about all of this stuff and you're not speaking up anymore, and people are angry that you're not speaking up anymore. And she was like, I'm sorry, I just saw that I was by me speaking up in the manner that I was creating more division than I was, try feel like I was helping. And it doesn't mean that I still don't have my beliefs, and it doesn't mean that I still don't stand for certain things, but she said, I just wanted to focus on like my work and all of those things. And there are these expectations on creators, whether they're super famous or not. And that's really challenging. And the other thing we were talking about, children, is that Margene and I had a conversation on the show last week about she graduated early. She's still just 16 years old. She's not going to be 17 until for the next few months. And that's like 2 years early to graduate in terms of when people graduate in the United States. So when my kids graduate early, I don't put pressure on them to like go figure it all out right now. But it's so funny to me how many people she'll interact with, and their first question is, "Oh, you graduate, what's next? What's next? What are you going to
right.
do?" And I want to slap people and just be like, leave her alone. Let her appreciate the work that she put in. Let
Mm,
her sit with it, because I told her I felt so much pressure when I graduated to like have it all figured out. And then I felt the pressure. I had so many friends who went off to college right away or whatever. And I was like, I don't know what I want to do,
mm.
because I feel like I'm boxed in, like I have to have it all figured out, and that creates tremendous anxiety while you're waiting for that next phase of your life.
Yeah, it really does. And I feel like there's so much pressure to know. Like, for
Mm,
instance, I think back at like how when I had to pick what I wanted to do in university, it starts when you're 15, 16, because for the system I was in, which was the British system, you need to pick subjects in what's called year 10 or by
uh-huh.
year 10. So that's like from one to like form 3. So, and then
Mm.
those subjects will then lead on to like when you're doing your A levels, and then it will also determine what you do in university. So technically, by the time you're 15, you need to kind of know what you want to do in university. 15, 14. How do I even know? And once I went through like the whole university experience, whenever because I used to do this thing as a part-time job, I used to like take students around with their parents and for my department, and I'd like show them around, and then I'd give them like answer any questions, and I would tell them, please ask as many questions as you want, because you're fortunate enough to be here and to be able to ask questions. I'm from a whole other country, and I came here and then discovered, oops, this is the course. So, oh, this is what
Yeah.
it means. And I can't
Yeah.
go back now because my parents have spent too much money. Like you have to live with that now and hopefully figure
Right.
it out. And so I was telling them like, please, because the dropout rate in university was so high, almost 40% would drop out after the first year. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very, or at least 30%. Because what would happen is, there's this expectation. You think you know what you want, you sign up, you do the course, you start the and you're like, wait, no, I don't like this. I don't connect to this. Maybe you didn't even know that the course wasn't as practical as you wanted, but you're too young to know what questions to ask. You don't
Right.
even know what to think about. And so I always advise people going to university, it's more than just the type of university. You have to kind of try and think about what do you want to experience,
Mm.
and anything else. And then also like talking to parents and being like, it's unfair for you to expect your child to know this. You're a whole adult who knows, who's navigated way more than they can.
Yeah.
And it's not about like enforcing your opinion, but give them
Right.
the tools to know what to ask or how to be able to navigate making such a decision. And then I'm going to be
Yeah.
able to do it, and give them grace. If it means they take 1 year off, or if they
Right.
have to work somewhere to experience it, do that. But don't be like, why didn't you know? Did you know?
Right. Well, and I think what's important too, and we were talking about this with Margine as well, is like the question when you're little is, what do you want to be when you grow up? What is that? What does that lean towards? That leans towards you have to pick one thing and then that's it. That's it
Yes.
forever. And so I one of the things that I think is so important is letting people know that it's okay to change your mind at any point. At any point. So
Absolutely.
even as we're like waiting for things, if you're waiting for something and you decide, I don't want to wait for this anymore, it's okay to go, I'm not going to wait for this anymore. I'm going to go ahead and change my mind.
Exactly, precise. That option of choice, and I think it's something that I don't know. I think as a millennial, I got a lot from Boomer, like the other generation. They would be
Yeah.
like, "You guys are so indecisive. You don't stay on it long. You keep changing." And I'm like, it's because I have the benefit of choice. Like I
Right.
know that I
Mhm.
can do that. Like I don't have to stay somewhere for 10, 15 years. If it's not aligning, I move on, and so I love that.
Yeah.
That is so true. And you know what? You can have multiple careers and people
Yes.
in your life, and imagine what you will make money and you will be fine. And a lot of times, the
Yeah.
people don't realize, like, I've made quite a bit of money off things I never studied. What I
Mm.
studied helped me, but it was not necessarily what I made the most money from.
Right.
So you'll be fine.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We're going to take a super quick break. And when we come back, we'll get final thoughts and birthdays. So we'll be right back after this.
I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart. I shall stand for love, for the world is wounded, not just my little piece of land, where I am mostly safe, where I am mostly well, but our world, everywhere, every day. I shall stand for love, because we need more light, not more death, not more power, not more bombs. I shall stand for love, so that our children are safe, so that our friends are sheltered, so that our borders are open. I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart.
Welcome back, everyone, to Project Joy Live. Today is Wednesday, August 12th, 2026. Olivia and I have been talking about learning to wait without losing your joy, which is always a fun time. Any final thoughts about our topic today, Olivia?
I mean, you know what? Have grace with yourself. I think the most frustrating thing sometimes is when you're very hard on yourself. Like, be your own best friend, be kind to yourself, allow yourself to feel whatever emotions you're feeling, and I really feel what's aligned for you will come. I know it may not feel like that, it may not seem like that, but there's someone who's been through what you've been through and they've actually received the thing they're expecting. So, yeah, and also find some places where you can be supported because waiting alone can be hard. Sometimes you just need a
Yeah.
friend to be like, this sucks, I don't like it, and it can make it easier. You don't have to figure it out yourself, and yeah, wishing you joy in waiting. And joy doesn't always mean you have to be happy,
Yeah.
but I think you can find some goodness in the process of waiting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, Olivia, it's time for birthdays. Shall we do it?
Yes.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, everybody. Birthdays. Where's my note? Where's my notepad? There we go. All right. In the world of celebrity today, actress, comedian Yvette Nicole Brown is 55 years old today. She cracks me up. She's so good. And just always comes across to me as just a very warm person. Sometimes comedians can come across a little bit harsh, but she's fantastic. Love her. Actor Casey Affleck is 51 years old today. And today is Sir Mix-a-Lot's birthday. Sir Mix-a-Lot is 63 years old today. And all I kept thinking about is the lyrics to Baby Got Back. And it's when he was a lot younger when that song came out, obviously, and it's I like big butts, I cannot lie, right? And so I was thinking about in this season of his life at 63 years old, maybe he likes to wake up a little later. Maybe he likes a good bifocal glasses. Maybe he likes very different things than just big butts at this point in his life. And that's all I could think about this morning.
That's a good one.
That's all I could think about. And the celebrities in my life, Haley Lynn has a birthday today, as well as Laura Sharesky, and my aunt Joanne Garnett has a birthday today. So happy birthday to you guys. Anybody that you are celebrating today, Olivia?
No, I don't know anyone whose birthday it is today.
That's all right. We'll have some next time probably because it's always somebody's birthday somewhere. All right, let's get our birthday song on. Here we go. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Yvette Nicole Brown, Casey Affleck, Sir Mix-a-Lot, Joanne, Laura, and Haley. Happy birthday
to
you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. We hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Anything you're up to, Olivia? Anything you want to share, announce, any of that fun stuff?
Apart from just my playlist, go and listen to it on Spotify. When we're done, I will put it in the comment section. Yes. So you can all go check it out. But other than that, no. What about you, Jessica?
Yeah, same. I this afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time, I'm on Beyond 2D with Ferran Dozier, and we are starting our What Are You Spending series. What are you spending? And we're going to kick things off with the time. What are you spending your time on? And we're going to talk about time, money, What else are we there? There's 4 different things that we're going to talk about. Well, we're starting it off with time. So we'll be here today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, only on the Breakthrough Show Network. And then don't forget, guys, Brittany has Craft Circle tomorrow from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely come into our virtual community, bring a craft, and come craft away with everybody. So it'll be fun. But that's all I have for today. And I'm so glad that you were here with me today, Olivia.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
All right, everybody. I'm Jessica Dugas. This is Olivia Ambani, and we want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. And we will see you next time on Project Joy Live.